This is Friedrich Panse, a psychiatrist born in Essen in 1899. This year of birth meant that he was old enough to have been conscripted, and he served as a soldier in World War I, which makes his future career somewhat surprising. He came from a working-class family in the Ruhr, so to be able to go to university and study medicine in Münster and Berlin as from 1919 must have been quite an achievement. After graduating and obtaining his license to practice medicine in 1924, he worked as a resident physician in the Wittenau Sanatorium in Berlin. In 1933, Adolf Hitler was granted power by a group of conservatives around President Paul von Hindenburg. The National Socialists believed in eugenics and a master race. There was no place within this master race for those who were mentally or physically challenged. This, of course, included those who were injured in the First World War. In 1936, Panse, now an associate professor, moved to Bonn, where he became the senior physician at the Institute for the Psychiatric and Neurological Study of Heredity in the Rhineland Province. This photograph dates to around this time. We can see Friedrich Panse in the first row, third from the right. In 1937, he was appointed lecturer for racial hygiene at Bonn University. Panse joined the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party, in 1937, although given the date, this does not necessarily show belief in the party program. Many people joined for career reasons, or even just to hold on to their job. Nonetheless, Panse clearly believed in the eugenics part of National Socialism. From 1939 to 1945, Panse was an advisory Wehrmacht psychiatrist in Münster and head of the reserve hospital in Ports-Ensen. Here he treated traumatized soldiers with electric shocks. These electric shocks were called Pansen as a sort of a sick joke based on his name. Whereas this seems cruel today, it needs to be pointed out that such methods were also tried in other countries, and at the time this was believed to be right. However, what was not tried in other countries was the murder of military veterans. In at least 15 cases, Panse pleaded for the killing of institutional patients, including those who had been injured whilst serving at the front. For me, it's really hard to see how someone could wish for the killing of those with whom he had served during the war. In 1940, Panse was appointed to be a so-called external expert for Action T4, assessing registration forms. Action T4 was the murder of the mentally and physically challenged at places such as Grafenegg, which you can see here in today's Baden-Württemberg. The registration papers of those in care homes were assessed by 3 doctors, and those doctors would decide if they thought a person should live or die. And if they were going to die, they went to places like Grafenegg. If 2 of the 3 suggested death, then that person would be killed. This was a uniquely paper exercise. No physical examination of the patient was made whatsoever. The killing of the mentally and physically challenged took the lives of at least 70,000 people in Germany as from September 1939, including some 5,000 war veterans. This policy was also continued in the territories occupied by Nazi Germany. Indeed, the very first killings happened in Poland in September 1939, whilst the battles for Poland were still in progress. Panse was put on trial in front of German courts in 1948 and 1950, but he was acquitted both times. Panse went on to be director of various institutions, including heading the Psychiatric University Hospital Dusseldorf. In 1965-66, he was the president of the Society for Psychiatry and Neurology. Panse died in 1973. His honorary membership there was not revoked until 2011. There are many videos on this site of Nazi criminals who got away with it and then went on to have post-war careers. Some of them are killers, such as Martin Sandberger, who headed Einsatzkommando 1A, and who after the war, after he was released from prison, worked as a corporate lawyer. Now, if you'd met him then, you might say, what about those Jews you murdered, Mr. Sandberger? But you wouldn't necessarily have reason to fear him. Others were judicial killers, such as Kurt Boder. And if you were being prosecuted by him, you might see the irony of being accused of a crime by a murderer. However, in the case of Panse, who was still doing the same job as he'd done in National Socialist times, how would you feel about leaving a sick relative at the Psychiatric University Hospital in Dusseldorf? If you're interested in knowing more about the T4 program, the murder of the physically and mentally challenged, as well as the perpetrators of these crimes, then you might be interested in subscribing to my channel. I upload every Tuesday and every Friday at 2000 hours my time. I'm based in Poland and in Germany, and so therefore I'm able to do not only the research in these countries, but I can also show you what the locations look like today where these crimes actually took place. For the moment, you might want to have a look at a couple of videos which are about to appear now, detailing T4 institutions and crimes. For the moment, thanks for watching.